Hey everybody, Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. And I'm not crafting anything, I'm working on a miniature. So somebody in my party is playing a LP or a little person, a halfling of some sort maybe, in my futuristic campaign, and there are no true halflings. So they're an LP, a little person, midget, dwarf, whatever. But not in a fantasy sense, but in a regular sense. So I have some miniatures, and using him as the regular scale and using this guy as kind of like the bigger scale of some of the miniatures I've used in this campaign, I think this is the one I'm going to choose. But he wants to have like a bunch of garbage on his back, like he carries a big backpack full of garbage, and he uses garbage as his like stealth, like scrap, and then he has a sniper rifle. So I have to convert this guy, and that base is not going to be big enough to where he isn't easily knocked over. So I need to put him on something a little bigger. So I have this little poker chip thing here, and this will do nicely. Actually, let me use one of these ones, because these cheapy ones, I don't like them as much. Let me use one of these better ones from Koplau Games. I don't know where I got that, I forget. So that would back in the day. So first thing I want to do is I want to get him on this larger base so that I can work on him a little easier and hold on to him a little easier. So I'm just going to get my glue, and I'm going to hot glue him to the center the best I can. Hot glue is nice because I can move him around a little bit. And then I'm going to put him on a paint lid so I can hold on to him pretty easy. Actually, instead of using a paint lid, I'm going to use my Dungeon Swag thing here. It's probably way too much glue for what I needed. It's going to be hard to get off there now. All right, so I need to shore up that base and kind of get rid of that texture and that all that's going on there. So to do that, I'm going to get some super glue and some baking soda. And I'm not rushing. Usually I rush when I do minis, but I just need to get this going. I just worked a long day. It's Saturday. I had to cover for one of my employees. I'm not super pleased about it. It's not his fault, but just people don't want to chip in. They don't want to cover shifts. So I have to hire another person just to cover shifts at that site, and it's going to cut into the money that site generates, and then they're going to be upset because they lose the overtime they have regularly scheduled. But since they don't want to work shifts, something has to be done. I'm not telling you the name of my company, obviously, but for those of you that might know me on a personal level, know that I'm not doing it maliciously. I'm doing it because I just have to be able to cover shifts. You know, some of you know me on more than just from YouTube. You know, some of you play video games with me, and some of you are in my friends and family group. So just know that it's not malicious that I'm doing this to these people. It's out of necessity. Okay, so now we've broken up that base enough to where you can't tell what is going on there, and we can use that to start our build. So we need something to use for his rifle. I could go through HeroClix and steal a rifle, but I think the easier thing to do would be to manufacture one. So I'm going to start with a toothpick and see what I can do with that first. So a toothpick is obviously super fat for a halfling-sized person. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a one of these, and I'm going to shave two of the sides thinner a little bit. Then I'm just going to take that and get rid of the round. Then I'm going to snip off the edge like that. And I'm going to snip this off at an angle. And I'm going to try to see if I can get it in there in such a way that it looks like he's holding it. Let me snip this off a little bit more here. Okay. And I'm just going to dip that in the end of my glue gun to get enough super glue or hot glue to hold it while I move on to the next step. So the next step is to, okay, let me try it again. Okay, let that cool. Get a dab of super glue. And I'm just going to use my other part of this toothpick to get the glue in that joint around there and make sure there's no bulbous, large areas. I'm going to get a little bit of baking soda. I'm just sprinkling it with my fingers. And then where it is up here, shove it down so it meets up with the model. Sprinkle a little bit in there. Okay, we didn't get a good bond. We don't want to go over the top. We don't want a bunch of baking soda on this model to destroy detail. So we're just sprinkling it with our fingers, just lightly, into that spot, and blowing away the excess. We're still not getting a good bond there. Okay. Now he's tiny, so I don't know how much detail I can really put on a rifle like that, but let's see what else we can do. I'm going to get a tiny piece of cardstock. And then I'm going to section that into thirds, but I'm not cutting all the way through. I'm cutting little grooves so they can act as folding points. Oops. I'll fold that over. I'm going to pull that center piece of cardboard out. I'm going to fold that side down. Get that off. Okay. And I'm going to put that like that on there. Let me see if I can get it to line up a little better. I need to cut a little bit of that off. So that it sits flush. Then I'm going to get that up on there like that. This would have been much easier to do before I mounted the gun to him. So let's leave it off. And what we'll do is we will get an emery board. And just make it look good with that. Okay. Now I'm going to get a little drill. Maybe a hobby knife would have been better for that. Do I have a hobby knife anywhere with a blade in it? I seldom use them. No, I don't. Where's my poker at? Let me find my poker. Minor burning hand spell. Let me get my poker hot as shit. Ow. There we go. See that tiny little hole? Cool. Now we're going to make a scope for it. And we're just going to use an uncut piece of this. We're going to lay that into place. Actually, oops. You know what? I have little straws somewhere. I don't know where the hell they are. They might be perfect for this. Let me look for those. Little straws, where you at, dudes? Can't find you. Oh, I know what we can use. We use a piece of sprue to make that, so that when it cuts off nicely, it looks flush and square instead of cut off funny like a stick does. Okay, we're going to put that on there using a little bit of super glue, or a little bit of hot glue to hold it in place. Okay. Oh, that did not work the way I wanted it to. All right. We're going to try it again with the popsicle, or the toothpick then. Oh, I snapped it in half. Calm down. All right. I need something thin. All right. We just need this to hold it in place for a damn second. And I lost it. There it is. All right. Get it. Just for a split second there. Dab of glue. Straighten it out. Sprinkle of baking soda. Blow on it first. Okay. Now our rifle is looking pretty good. On his back here, we need a backpack. Now this little Samwise Gamgee has a backpack that I think if we could pluck that off, would be a good base for what I'm trying to do, but probably not a finished product for what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to get a pair of needle nose pliers. Let's see if I can get that off. I don't know if that's molded onto him or just stuck to him. Oh, crap. That hurt really bad. All right, we're going to snip it off. Since I can't get it off just by breaking it. Well, therein lies the problem. It is physically attached to his cape. So we'll snip that away. Snip off this stuff. And we have the nice beginning of a backpack. I'm going to get a tiny dab of glue. There we go. I'm going to turn it upside down like that. Even though it doesn't make sense the way the pots and pans are on it now. I'm going to get a little bit of glue in there like that. Sprinkle some baking soda. I'm going to come up underneath the bottom part here and do the same thing. A little bit of glue in there. Sprinkle some baking soda. Alright, now we need some little things to glue onto them to add some extra garbage. To make it look like he's carrying extra stuff. To get a little bit of that. Twist it up. And put a little bit of glue in the end on that side. All this is a cut up drinking straw, you can see. I'm going to come to this side. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. Let that cool. All right. Tiny dab of glue. Mount that up there. Just like that. Then we're going to get that piece I had there. We're going to get a dab of glue. Tiniest dab. Just get it in there and smear it out of the way so it's not sticking out. I'm going to stick that to it. Just like that. Let's get some kind of other kind of sprue or piece. What do I got in here? There we go. Something like this. I've used something like, I used pieces like this to make a gun once before. That might not be ideal for this. Let me look what else I got. I had some weapons the other day. La 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 la. Where's my big pull-out thing of parts? I have a big oh, there it is. Looking for weapons. Do 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 do. Da, 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 da. I have like 1,000 little drawers. I can't bring it up on camera. Just be patient. I'm coming back. Ah. Oh, and I found the damn things I want to use to make the gun. They were in here. Okay. Here's a bunch of little newbie dibbers. I don't know what that is, but we're going to mount that on the side here. Like that. And I don't know what that is, but we're stealing that thing too. These are just things that came off of miniatures and stuff that I don't really know what purpose they serve. So this is going to be just random junk he's got on his back. We want this to all be sturdy, so we're just going to get in here. A little bit of super glue. Blow on it. Sprinkle some baking soda. And all this stuff should be pretty sturdy. Okay, so he wanted it to be like he has scrap metal on him too. So to do that, this is going to be tough. I'm going to cut a couple little pieces. Irregularly. I'll get a little baking or a little super glue on that. Get my poker. And I'm going to attach these. I'm just curling this one a little bit. Attach these to his back in different ways. To resemble pieces of scrap. Mounted to his cloak. Or jacket or whatever this is. Okay, this should be pretty sturdy now, I'm guessing. That one's got a little bit of play to it. That would get rid of any of the excess glue. Everything's sturdy. Cool. Like I said, not a big hurry on this kind of stuff. Just do a, do it so it tells the story you need it to tell. It took us as long as it's going to take me to paint this to assemble it. You probably don't need to watch me paint it. You've seen me paint minis. Yeah. I think I'm going to call it there. Let's make sure everything's sturdy and there's some detail. Nothing's coming off. All these pieces are good and attached. Cool. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon. Hold on, wait a minute. I might want to put this cape thing back on him. Nah, I don't. It was never on him. It was part of that thing. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment, and all the happy crappy that helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Blah, 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 blah.